Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Our session today is titled From Downtime to Trust, the Cost of Data Banking Disruptions. Please let me know if you can hear me aside from seeing my screen. Can I see the thumbs up coming in? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm going to progress. Whether you're joining us from bank, a financial service organization, or an insurance company, or a fintech, we are delighted to have you with us today. So over the next 1 hour, we'll be discussing a topic that affects every organization that delivers data services today. And because in today's environment, availability isn't just an IT metric anymore. It's now part of the customer experience. Well, it has been, but it's more part of the customer experience. And that's exactly what we'll be exploring together. And a quick word on who we are for anyone joining us for the first time. Ha-Shem Limited is a B2B IT solutions company based in Lagos, Nigeria. We work with organizations across Nigeria to help Africa to help them improve their IT operations. And one of our key partnership is with SolarWinds. So we're in conjunction with SolarWinds bringing you this webinar. And they're one of the world's leading providers of IT monitoring and observability technology. We're also an advanced SolarWinds partner and an authorized training organization, which means we are not just reselling these products, we implement it, we train teams on it, and we support organizations as they use it. That's like hands-on experience. That's why it's part of why we are hosting this session today. So next slide, please just let me know if you can see my slide. Okay, thank you. So that's me, Queen Odili. I'm a product marketing associate here at Ha-Shem Limited, and I'll be hosting today's session and guiding us through the conversation. And speaking of technical expertise, let me introduce the person who is going to take you through the demo part of today's session. So I'm pleased to introduce our speaker, Titilope Bello. She is a technical manager here at Ha-Shem Limited and is both a SolarWinds certified professional and instructor. She has worked with different organizations deploying SolarWinds solutions across complex hybrid environments, helping IT teams improve visibility, reduce the downtime, and gain greater control over critical systems. So later in the session, she'll be taking us through a live demonstration of SolarWinds Observability Self-Hosted, where you're going to see how these capabilities work in practice. But before we get into the presentation, just a few quick housekeeping notes, please. To make sure everyone has the best experience today, here are like a few quick tips to remember. Please keep your microphone muted unless you're invited to speak. If you have questions during the presentation, kindly feel free to drop them in the chat session. They'll be attended to after the session, after the presentation. Our team will be monitoring the chat throughout the session, and we'll also have a dedicated Q&A session towards the ending where you'll be able to unmute, and where you will unmute, you'll be able to ask your questions. So this webinar is recorded. So if you need, just after the webinar, a recording will be made available afterwards via your email. Finally, we love this to be very, very interactive. So please don't hesitate to use your reactions or engage in the chat. Also, we'll be dropping polls as we go along in this session. Please help us engage and answer them. Thank you very much. So let's get straight into why we are here today. So I want us to first look at the reality many IT teams are working with today. I know some of these are going to feel very familiar. You might have experienced it. You might have heard someone tell you. Siloed monitoring is probably the biggest one we hear. Maybe you've got one tool for your apps, you have another for your networks, another for your database, and perhaps another for your cloud services. Individually, these tools do their job well, like they do it, there's no disputing that, but none of them work together. So it's like you're trying to solve a puzzle piece from different boxes, different puzzle pieces, and you're just trying to solve it. That leads directly to tool sprawl. You end up with so many tools that just managing them becomes very, very difficult in itself. There's also hybrid visibility gap. Most Nigerians' financial institutions are running a mix of legacy on-premises systems and these newer cloud-based services. So getting consistent visibility across both, that is the on-prem and the cloud services, is genuinely hard, it's very hard. And when monitoring your tools, they were built for one or the other. You're not getting the visibility together. Scaling is also a headache too. As your environment grows, your monitoring needs to grow with it, and many tools, they don't. And the result of all this that I've just spoken about is unforeseen outages and delays. So it's not because your teams are not trying, they're actually trying. But when you can't see what's going on, okay, so when you can't see what's going on, you can't get ahead of problems, you're always reacting instead of preventing, is exhausting. So these are some of the customer pain points. We have heard them explain to us and tell us, and that will just take us to our next slide. The next question is, why does it matter? What is the real cost of not identifying these issues very quick? When your own data engineering or your marketing teams find the issue first, the consequences can actually stay manageable because they found it on time. You've caught it early, you can fix it quietly before the customers, they never need to even know that, oh, something happened, does not get to them. But as the time to detect grows, the circle of people who discovers the problem, it widens. First, your business stakeholders, then your external customers, and eventually, in the worst case scenario, it becomes a public issue. It is known. You get news coverage, CBN notification, and it just widens. And what you lose because of that time to detect, it changes too. First, you lose your customer trust, you lose your time, you lose revenue directly through failed transactions and customer moving to or changing the services, the banking services they use. And in most serious cases, you lose your reputation. And in today's Nigerian banking sector, reputation is not easy to rebuild. Our goal here isn't to simply detect. The goal we are trying to achieve is not for us to just detect that something is wrong. The goal is to understand why it's happening quickly enough to reduce the impact. And that is becoming increasingly important as regulatory expectations continue to evolve and grow. This just brings us to another important factor that is shaping how organizations like yours think about monitoring today. I hope you can see what's on my screen. So over the last few years, we've seen regulators place much greater importance on operational resilience. And this is not about cybersecurity. It's not only about cybersecurity. It's just about you demonstrating that your organizations can continue delivering critical services even when disruptions occur. So here in Nigeria, the central bank is continuing to strengthen the expectations around governance, operational resilience, and technology risk management. So I just want to bring something into the room that happened a few weeks ago. If you can see on my screen, you're going to see like an image of a notice that was published. This happened 1st of July 2026. The Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the operating licenses of 46 microfinance banks. I want you to sit on that. I want you to digest that. You can see the actual press statement. This is not speculation. It's a published CBN document. And the message is very, very clear. Organizations need more than compliance documents. They need evidence. They need visibility into the health of their environment. They need accurate reporting, and they need confidence that when something happens, they can detect it, investigate it, and respond appropriately. And one challenge many organizations face is that fragmented monitoring creates fragmented evidence. That is true, and I know you can agree with me. If different teams are using different tools, it becomes very hard to demonstrate, to even see the complete picture of your IT infrastructure or your environment as it relates to your banking system now. That's where unified visibility now becomes very valuable, not only for operations, but also for compliance and governance. So because resilience today is no longer something organizations aspire to, it is actually becoming an operational requirement. Please, I just want you all to think about this, sit on it. So let's move to the next slide. So what does this journey actually look at? I want you to see something on my screen. So this is showing you monitoring and observability. This is what we call the SolarWinds donuts. So many organizations have matured monitoring practices. There's nothing wrong with monitoring. In fact, monitoring remains an important part of every IT environment. The difference is that today environment has become much more complex. You are monitoring different things. So this just shows you what SolarWinds Observability provide. You get to monitor your network, your infrastructure, your databases, your application, your user experience, your IT security. Then on the other part, you're seeing the IT service management. With this combined, you're not just getting monitoring your environment, you're getting better service management. You're able to manage your incidents, you're able to manage your services, your assets, your configurations, your life cycle, your knowledge, and all this just gives you tools consolidation, operational resilience, service excellence, cost optimization, and automation. With this is just showing you what this SolarWinds Observability is, and it gives you. So this is where it gets very, very exciting. So with SolarWinds Observability, you are able to unify what's important. You're able to unify your network, your infrastructure, your database, your applications, your security. With this, you are able to eliminate blind spots. You are able to unify your insight across your on-prem, your cloud servers, your network devices. You're able to correlate database metrics with your performance. You trace and logs monitor to identify the contributing factors that you are getting. Also, you're able to increase focus on urgent issues that are coming. You're able to get real-time insight into the health of your application, your database. So let me know if you can see my slide, please. Okay, you can see my slide. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, I was telling you what SolarWinds Observability is able to unify. It's unify what is important for your business, for your banking system, for your network. You're able to see everything working together. So whether those systems are running on-prem, in the cloud, or across very different hybrid environments, instead of you investigating each layer independently, your team can understand how activities in one area affect another. For example, an application may suddenly become slow. With traditional monitoring, it might tell you that, oh, the application response time has increased. But with observability, it helps you go further than that. It helps you understand whether the issue started with the database, whether it's related to infrastructure, whether network latency is contributing, or whether another dependency is responsible. That level of context, it significantly reduces investigation time. So instead of asking, where should we start looking? What's happening? I don't know. I'm not seeing anything. Your team can focus on solving the problem. Ultimately, unified visibility helps remove blind spots, gives everyone a shared understanding of what's happening across your environment. So moving on to the next, I really love this slide because it really captures the before and after. So if we compare traditional approach with modern observability, the difference becomes very, very clear. On the left-hand side, we see the traditional approach. An alert is generated, someone notices it, operation teams begin to investigate. I don't know if you're following the story that the picture I'm trying to paint here. And then your teams are now moving from different dashboard and tools. They're collecting information from different tools, and they now have to come together to correlate it. They involve other teams. Eventually, they identify the root cause, yes, but this is a reactive process. That is time consuming and very, very exhausting. And in many organizations, that is still the reality today. It is what is still happening. Now, compare that with the approach on the right. Observability doesn't simply generate alerts now. It provides context. It correlates metrics, logs, and traces to help explain why something happened. That means teams spend less time searching for information and more time resolving the issue. The result is faster, decision making is faster, incident response is faster, and ultimately you get a better experience for customer. That's real evolution. Okay. Oh, I am skipping. Can you hear me now? Mr. Joshua, can you hear me now? Oh, okay, Mr. Joshua, I think it's your network because someone else is saying it seems fine from their end. Okay, yes, thank you very much, sir. So hope you can all hear me. Okay, yes, that's nice. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, the result is faster, decision making is faster, and incident response is better. That is the real evolution we want to see across the industry. That is real evolution we are going towards to, moving from just collecting data to actually understanding it. Now I'm going to move forward. So what does all of this mean in practical terms? The value of observability isn't measured by numbers of dashboard that you have. No, it's measured by the outcome it enables. First, organizations can identify and resolve issues much faster because they have a clearer understanding of what's happening across the environment. Second, teams spend less time dealing with unnecessary alerts. So instead of responding to every notification or trying to go through them, they can prioritize the issues that matters the most. So it's just like you get your prioritization set right. Third, you are maintaining service level agreement, that's SLE. It becomes easier because problems are identified before they develop into bigger incidents. That contributes directly to better customer experiences. Finally, IT team becomes more productive. Less time is spent investigating problem. More time is available for innovations, optimization, and even strategic initiative. Now, the self-hosted observability SolarWinds Observability is not replacing monitoring. It's building on it. It provides the visibility and context organization needs to operate confidently in increasingly complex environments. And that's exactly what the SolarWinds Observability platform is designed to support your environment. So we've established why observability matters. The next question is, what does SolarWinds offer to help organizations achieve this? So SolarWinds sees that every organization environment is different, from banking system to insurance system to financial services to even the IT system. Everything, like the way we run our systems, is different. Some organizations are cloud first, while others need to keep critical workload within their own infrastructure. Because of security, there might be various reasons, compliance or business requirements. That's why you are on my screen, you're seeing two deployment options. The first is SolarWinds Observability SaaS, which is designed for organizations looking for a cloud-delivered observability platform. It provides visibility across modern applications, cloud infrastructure, container, and Kubernetes environments. So while we're going to gather the metrics, the logs, traces, and user experience data in one place. Then the second you're seeing is SolarWinds Observability Self-Hosted, which is the focus of today's webinar. We call it SWOSH, SWOSH. So it's like a short abbreviation for SolarWinds Observability Self-Hosted. It gives organizations the same end-to-end visibility while allowing them to retain control over where their monitoring data is or it resides. It can be deployed on premises or within your own cloud environment, making it a very strong option for organizations like yours with regulatory, security, or data residency requirements. So whichever deployment model that best fits your organization, the objective remains the same: to give your team a complete view of environment so they can detect, understand, and resolve issues more efficiently. So don't worry, we'll soon be getting into the part of the demo soon. Let's just round up with this. So why SolarWinds for observability? So why organizations choosing SolarWinds as they make this transition? One reason is flexibility. Most organizations don't have the luxury of starting from scratch. They already have existing infrastructure applications and business system in place. So SolarWinds is designed to work within those environments, whether they are on premises, hybrid, or cloud native. Another advantage is that the platform brings together information from different parts of your environment into a clear, actionable dashboard. You see them in the dashboard. So instead of you switching between multiple tools, your team can work from a shared view of your system health. The platform also uses intelligent analytics, that is AI, to help identify unusual behavior more quickly, allowing your team to investigate potential issues before it becomes very big incidents. Also, integration is another important consideration. We know that there are a lot of technology tools coming in and they help our work, they help our business move forward. So it helps remove silos. when you get one tool for security, get another tool for another thing. With this, it's easy to integrate those different tools you're working with for other solutions. So SolarWinds integrates with a wide range of existing tools and platforms, allowing your organizations to build on their current investment rather than replace everything. Finally, organizations have flexibility in how they deploy and scale the solution. As your business needs to change because it's going to grow, the platform itself can grow alongside it. Ultimately, SolarWinds isn't just helping organizations monitor infrastructure, it's helping them understand the health of the services their customers depend on every day. Now, as you can see on my screen, technology is only valuable if it delivers results in real environment. And one of the things we are very proud of as Ha-Shem Limited is the opportunity we've had to work with different organizations across different industries in Nigeria. And you can see on my screen, many of these organizations operate different complex environments where service is available. Performance and reliability are critical to their business operation. This partnership shows the trust customers placed in both SolarWinds solution and our implementation expertise. So we know every challenge is different, but the common goal remains the same: to reduce complexity, improve visibility, and respond to issues faster. So we are moving on to the demo. So now, rather than first continue talking about it, I think it's much valuable to show you how it works in practice. So thank you very much. As you watch the demonstration, I encourage you to think about your own environment. Ask yourself, where do we spend the most time investigating issues? Which system are the hardest to monitor today? Ask yourself, what would change if our team had a single view across the entire environment? This question should come to your mind during the demo. So please continue dropping your questions in the chat. We'll address as many as we can during the Q&A session. If we cannot, reach out to you after the session. At this point, I'd like to hand over to our technical manager, Titilope Bello, who will take us through the live demonstration. So Madam Titi, over to you. Thank you very much. So I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Okay, thank you, Queen. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, ma.
All right, thank you so much. All right. Again, thank you very much, Queen, for the presentation, and good afternoon, good morning, still morning. Good morning to every one of you, and thank you again for joining us today. Right, as we've heard, one of the biggest challenges organizations face, especially the financial institution, is not the lack of monitoring tool, really. It's actually a lack of visibility across the entire entire technology stack. Right. When teams are working with disconnected tools, it becomes difficult to identify issues quickly, understand the root cause, and then demonstrate operational resilience. Okay, sorry. So what I would like to do today, or to do now, is to show you how SolarWinds Observability Self-Hosted addresses these challenges through a unified platform that Quinn actually talked about. And during the next few minutes, we'll look at how IT teams can monitor infrastructure, application, network, databases, and services from a single interface, helping them to move from reactive troubleshooting to proactive operations. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Just confirm with thumbs up if you can see my screen once it's loaded. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin from the executive dashboard, because this isn't typically where, or it's typically where IT operations, the operations team, the service managers, and leadership get an immediate view of the overall service health within their organization, right? The dashboard, this is it, and this is our operational command center. And from this view, we can immediately see the overall health of everything we have that we are monitoring within our environment. We can see the list of devices, the ones that are currently experiencing one issue or the other. We can see alerts, we can see application status, and in terms of nodes, we can see the list of our nodes and the ones that are having issue or not having issue. And overall hardware health is also visible here, right? So we know that traditional monitoring for some of us that have the tool in place, as Twin also said, require us to move from one tool to another. That's for observability of today from SolarWinds actually begin by bringing every single team together so that team can work from a single shared operational picture. What we are going to do now is to look at a few key things, and I'm going to start with the alert screen. I have it opened somewhere here. Here is the screen for all alerts that have been generated within the environment. But the problem is not that we are not getting alerts. The problem is actually deciding which of these alerts deserve the most attention, right? So what we will do is to sort by severity level, and we're going to pick the critical. From here, we can see all critical alerts that have been generated within the environment based on either for application, for devices, for network. We can see them all here, and you can see multiple pages. We have to scroll to see, but there's still the problem of which one should we focus on. Also, we put our attention on. Now, we'll pick one alert. I have one open, and this is saying a node is either in a warning or critical state. And right from this alert page, I've opened that alert. Right from this alert page, we can see that something is happening, right? Something is happening in this environment. So what we are going to do is to look at the related node nodes that are causing, this issue, right? And I also have that open already somewhere. Yeah. Now this is the node that generated that particular alert, and from here we can actually see a lot of information. We can see the load on the node. We can see the CPU usage for this particular device. We can see events that have been generated over time, dependencies, right? In terms of these are transactions that this server is actually rendering, right? So either our users or our customers. It's a web server, and definitely there's a web application on this particular server, right? We can look at things like capacity forecasting in terms of resource utilization, and we have a tab that is called vital status that brings together all the vital signs for that particular application. Right here, we see the response time, and we can quickly tell if the server is dropping packets, right? And I've talked about the memory, talk about even the resource like this usage, all the storage that we have on the server, we can actually look at them. And right from here, you can see already there are obvious problems on this particular machine, right? In the act of storage, some storage are already reading 100%, and that could be one of the problems that we're having. Now, I'm going to move on now to, apart from the node, one of the things you will also pay attention to, considering that we said that particular node is rendering a web service to our users. The place we are going to see that, we have to come to the application summary page. From this application summary page, we can also see list of applications with problems, and we can easily address or drill down further within this particular application summary page. But one particular tool that is going to help us, because if you have a situation where everything look fine, there have not been any detection of or any escalation of issues, yet the customers are calling that what is happening. The page is not, maybe the page is not rendering well, or something is not happening, and you look internally. This issue can not be just from one single team. You have people that have to work together. You have the application team, you have the infrastructure, you have the network, you have the security. Everybody has to come together to ensure that that service is actually working fine for your users, right? So, because what is very important to customers, they don't even care about the routers or switches that you have or the servers that you have. They just care about the services that you are rendering to them. So for operation leaders, the health of a service is often far more important than the health of an individual device. And as we know, even if I pick one of the device I pick, looking at it, is telling us that the application on it is fine, but there's something that is still wrong. So let's kind of drill down further to see one tool that is very important, or the area that is important within the observability that can move beyond traditional monitoring, is actually the performance stack page, right? And on this page, let me move to the page that contains information for that particular node. Now, this is a graph, a performance graph for the device that we pick from that particular alert, right? And then from here, we can already see different metrics that comes together, and we can see the changes over time. Okay. Also, maybe I should go back a little bit to the device node page. Right from this device node page, you will be able to see that a lot of the time, infrastructure is already telling you everything is fine, and the engineers have to investigate the problem, jumping between different dashboards, which we say observability is eliminating here, right? I will go back to the performance dashboard. Remove this. Just a moment. The screen is looking things. Right. So I'm going to move to one that I've already created. Okay, yeah, I have this one here. On this particular page, you will notice that we have different metrics, more metric for that server. We have things for availability. This is the same web server. We have response time, packet loss. We have information about processor, right? That's the CPU, the memory. We have traffic information here with regard to network transmission. And then we have disk usage. Various different disks has been added here to show the utilization. And in terms of the duration of availability of requests, we can see all that on this page. Now, what this gives us, right, is a kind of valuable context to the operation team. And they stop asking the question of what's broken to start asking what's actually the cause of this. From this page, CPU at certain point is spiking to like 100%. This is disk. Disk is actually almost reaching, memory is actually, disk is actually almost reaching 100%, but this is just one disk. On that page, we have a few disks that have already reached 100%. This is majorly graph for disk. And you can see at every point in time, majority of them are already at 100% capacity. That's to say, the disk and the memory and the processor on that particular machine is actually the culprit. So it means there's need for upgrade of those devices or increase of storage thereabout. So moving on, sometimes this might not even be the complete view of what the actual problem is. There is also a particular tool, and then for modern banking services, one of the things that is obvious and common is the fact that services rely or really live entirely within our own environment. That's what we call path from the source to the destination. So there is a lot of devices, a lot of junctions, a lot of bus stops from the source to the destination of a particular request. And to be able to view that information, we have the net path. So the net path feature is able to show you what's happening. This is an example of a path from a source to a destination. And looking at this graph alone, or this page, you will see that there are a lot of devices, a lot of hubs, a lot of bus stops, they call it hubs, right, in networking to get to the final destination. And from here, we can also see there are few issues that are beginning to surface. Everything has been green, latency has been fine, packet loss has been kind of minimal. But now we are beginning to see a warning sign that we are experiencing more delay at this point. And from here, you can see there are even more devices. If I click on it, it's going to expand it further. That's to say, you have your own device, but any device along the path that you do not have control, from here you can tell. Because one of the questions that people ask when we are troubleshooting issue is this issue actually ours, or is it someone else's? It could be your ISP. We can see the path through the ISP here. It could be a service provider. It could be a cloud service. It could be an API, or even your payment service provider, right, that are having this issue. So this net path gives you a view of what's happening along the path to the destination. And you can easily call the attention of whoever is responsible for the different path. And also, it's going to even tell you, let me see if I have one here. Okay, so I have this one. It's going to tell you, you might be able to get a view of what's happening sometimes. Like there was a change here, and this change has caused the downtime here. So that way, you can easily initiate a restore or a rollback of the configuration that have changed on this device. And that is NetPath, right, helps to answer that question of whose issue is it? Is it us or is it someone else's? Right. Now, from here, we can see that our teams now have an understanding of service delivery cut across multiple paths from the source to the destination. And that means we will guess less and move faster to escalation and quicker resolution. There's also one last or final tool that I would like to show us, and that is AI-assisted capability. At every page of SolarWinds, you have the AI tool that has been integrated into it. I want to apologize ahead of time. This is a demo environment, so there's limitation to what we can do here, right? We're just going to pick one of these prompts that has been pre-populated for us. And what I want to do is to find out from every the data that we have in our environment with regard to applications and nodes. I want this AI to tell us to pick out 3 nodes with the highest CPU usage within the environment. So we're just going to click this and we give it some seconds for it to render the responses for us. Because naturally, as monitoring data grows, our engineers will spend more time interpreting the information. AI, on the other hand, is helping us and can help us to accelerate that process of interpretation or investigation. And from this page, we can see that we are able to get 3 devices or 3 nodes in this environment with the highest CPU usage. And then we have not just giving us this information, we also have recommendation of what we need to do to correct this before it becomes a problem. So this is also helping us to kind of see the problem or see issue, detect them before they get to our user or before they become an issue, right, for us. So the goal, right, is not replacing technical expertise here, but the goal is to help the team to understand large volume of data more quickly. So at this point, right, I will say we have been able to bring everything together, and we started with viewing the entire environment from a single operational view like this one. Then we move from there into moving from alert, looking at alert and moving from alert into service visibility. Then we're able to correlate data using the net path, and that way we're able to detect root cause of the issues with the performance monitor, the performance, that's PAFStack, right? Performance monitor dashboard. And finally, we look at how AI-assisted operations can help to fasten investigation for our operation team. So from here, right, we can see that the value of observability, pardon my tongue, okay, isn't simply seeing more data in the environment, right? But it's understanding how the systems, services, applications, and dependencies interact to service our customer the way they like it. So for organizations that is delivering banking and financial services, that visibility helps the team to investigate faster, reduce operational risk, and maintain the service quality that customers expect. At this point, I would like to say thank you for listening, and I'll be happy to take any questions that you might have. So, Queen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for that session. I hope we're able to follow through the presentation and the demo. As she rightly said, it's time for Q&A session. So if you have a question, there are some questions in the chat box. I'm going to read them out first. But if you know you have questions, please just raise your hands, like your button, raise your hands, and I will call you and unmute you in order. So I'm going to the chat now to read the questions. Okay. Okay, so the first question we have is from Mr. Ephraim. Does the dashboard include the availability matrix for all services, including databases? Ma, did you get the question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, it does. So where there are two types of dashboards. This is a modern dashboard that you can actually build yourself and then put in those metrics, right? So behind every of this card, you have metrics. And if we go back to the all application dashboard, let me see, right here, you can see information about web services, Active Directory, Exchange, databases, right? You can see all of those information here. You have different databases. We have Oracle, we have Postgres, we have SQL. So yes, it's have metric that you can use to monitor the availability of every services that is supported. I hope I answered that question. Queen, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sorry. So I was saying, thank you very much, Ma, for answering the question. I was saying, Mr. Ephraim, does that answer your question, sir? I can just get a thumbs up, or you can send a chat to let me know. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question. This is from Mr. Endurance. Does this also track security threats like Sentinel and other security monitoring dashboards for information security officers? Does this also track security threats like Sentinel and other security monitoring dashboards for information security officer? Ma, did you get the question?
Yes, I got the question. So when it comes to SolarWinds observability, there is, yes, it supports security because SolarWinds now adopt what they call secure by design. However, there is let me see, you have a syslog that is able to help you collect different monitoring data depending on what services you have integrated into this environment. So you can collect monitoring data, whether it's security data or information, and whatever information you want to collect, you can collect that and view them and make sense of them right here from the syslog aspect of the solution. But there is also a separate tool or service that can help here, which is the SolarWinds event management. Right? That is the same aspect of SolarWinds that deal majorly with security. But on the self-hosted alone itself, so we have the security dashboard as well. Let me just quickly show it. And this is going to this is the other one that I'm talking about, the same. That's the pure security solution that is built from SolarWinds for this. So here, for security team, you can easily see because there's an integration between this self-hosted and the SolarWinds event management, right? That's why we can see some of this data, which we can also drill down further. Well, out of the box, if you have, there are certain services that you have that also have security feature embedded in it for your security team. Device services like especially around the network, where your configuration must meet certain compliance ISO requirement, certain configuration must not exist on your devices, certain settings will exist, and all of that. So you have that information, that security dashboard also here that you can use. You will see that there's difference between this dashboard and the former dashboard. So yes, it does. But if you want to go deep into security of entire, that's talking about SIEM, then you'll be looking at the SolarWinds event manager, right, for that. So I hope that answered the question for you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. Mr. Endurance, okay, yes, he gave a thumbs up. Thank you very much. So please, if you have questions aside the one on the chat, please kindly raise your hands up. I will unmute your mic. So we have on that question from Mr. Ephraim. Outside monitoring, can issues be fixed or prevented directly from the portal? For example, can, say, web services deployed on IIS, Apache etc. be restarted from the console?
The answer is,
Ma, did you get the question?
Yes. Yes, I got it.
Okay.
The answer is yes. So this is a web server, for instance, right? And then I showed the other page. This is application. So when you go into each of the application and you open it up, you have tools. You have tools on the page that allow you to be able to restart service. You can even automate. You can automate based on if this happen, restart, make an attempt to restart the service or make an attempt to restart the server itself, right? You have that. You have this tool. You have performance analysis. You have Explorer. You can explore right from here. It will connect into the server and show you the list of services and processes. And you can easily see those. Service control, real-time log. You can see all of that. If I go back to the node detail, on the node page here, you have more tools. You have option to reboot the server. You have option to do SSH depending on the kind of node it is. You have option to pull API. So yes, the answer is yes. You can do some service restore, or you can even create a script to say if this happens, the SolarWinds platform to take this particular action against whatever has happened. So yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma, for answering that questions. So are there any other questions coming in? Okay, nobody. Okay, so thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for taking us through the demo. Thank you for those that ask questions. I hope we're able to answer you. If you know you want to discuss further, you can reach out to us via email. We'll be able to be able to answer your questions thoroughly. So I hope you all got the value inside and insights you need to understand why we are holding the session today. So just so we are all on the same page, I'd like to leave you with 5 key points that I've taken out from this webinar, and I hope you too will take it. 1, monitoring and observability are not the same thing. Monitoring tells you a device is down, observability tells you why and what else is affected. That distinction has direct impact on how fast your teams resolve incidents and how confident your compliance documentation is. 2, the cost of slow detection is a business cost, not only an IT cost. I mentioned it earlier in the webinar. Every minute between a problem occurring and your team finding it's a minute in which customers are affected, revenue is at risk, and trust is being eroded. So narrowing that gap is one of the highest value things your IT team can do. 3, operational resilience is now a regulatory expectation. The CBN's action in July that happened earlier this July made that clear. Building the visibility and documentation capability now before a regulator acts. So you need to build this before a regulator asks you for this. It is significantly easier than when you build it under pressure. You're trying to gather this documentation under pressure. SolarWinds Observability Self-Hosted is one way to address all 3 of those things. It's not the only way, but it's, as I mentioned earlier, different organizations with their different system and what fits for them. But if what we've shown you today resonates with your challenges that you're facing, we're here to have that conversation with you. Also, please allow me to share my screen. We'll be ending soon. Permit me.
Hi, Queen. I think we have more question on the chat.
Okay, we have one question in the chat. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Michael, for bringing that to my notice. Okay, so this is also from Michael, Mr. Michael. So he said, Madam Titi, what is the advantage of SolarWinds over Prometheus or Grafana for the same purpose?
Okay. So I know that. Okay, I didn't expect this. Anyway, but let me try. Okay. So when it comes to Grafana, I think there's a lot of do-it-yourself, right? That you have to do compared to SolarWinds, where some things have actually been, most of the things have actually been done. It's only if you don't, if it's not what you really want or it doesn't really meet, then you can start tweaking, right? But for Grafana, that's Grafana actually. That's product is from Grafana. So you have to do it yourself. And then Grafana is kind of open source. Yes, they say it's free, but there's actually hidden tasks that come with it. And majorly, you have to, you require a higher effort than using SolarWinds compared to using SolarWinds. And then the other question is, I'm not sure of maybe their SLA or support in case of issue. I do not know if there's that for open source products. I do not know if you have people that you can actually call when you have issue in the environment and you need someone to actually help you resolve it, which is something SolarWinds have a team of dedicated engineers that are ready and available to support you if you have any issue with the environment. But what we can do is maybe after this webinar today, we can share the document that is kind of detailing the difference between the two services, right, for him and share with him rather.
Okay.
So I hope.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, yes, thank you, thank you, Mr. Michael. So after the session, we'll reach out to you so that we'll be able to answer your questions fully and take these discussions further. So we are rounding up the session, but I just have just something small to just let you all know about. So if you can see my screen, let me know. Okay, thank you. So before you leave, there will be a form sent to the chat box. Please kindly fill out the short form. Michael, please kindly help me share the form to the chat box so that they can all answer it. So as that is happening, I'd like to mention a bit about our subsidiary. As some of you might know, Ha-Shem Limited has a development and training part of our ecosystem, and that is Ha-Shem Academy. It's a training institute for tech and non-tech fields. So if you want to take any of the SolarWinds exam, or you want to take any technical trainings, we are here for you. As I mentioned earlier, we are an advanced partner of SolarWinds, and we are also qualified to take SolarWinds training. Also, so I mentioned earlier, the session is recorded and will be shared with everyone via your email, along with a copy of the 2025 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Observability Platform. That's a document which we are committed to sending when you registered. So you can reach us at discover@hashem.com if you have any questions or you want to follow through with discussions, or through the contact details you can see on your slides. So thank you everyone for being here. I hope today was very useful to you, and I hope we get to continue the conversation. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for filling the form. Have a nice and productive day, everyone. I really appreciate your time. On behalf of Ha-Shem Limited and SolarWinds, we say thank you for joining today's session. Bye, everyone.